things that I'm going to recommend that you do. One is make a media tree. This sounds totally rookie, I know. But it's really good. It really is. Take a look at what you have. Do you have Facebook? Do you have this? Do you have Twitter? Do you have a website? Do you have, where are all of your accounts online, and where are all of your accounts with your phones? And I don't mean like your accounts with businesses personally. I mean more like where it is the point of you meets the world. So where are the places where you meet the world? And make a list of them and take a look at what you've got. It's like inventory. It's like almost spring, so just think of it like spring cleaning. Take a look at, just do inventory, take a look at it, and just check it out. And then ask yourself some questions about it. Like, does what you've got meet your needs? Is this meeting your needs? Okay, it is here, here, and here, but it's not here. So take a look at what needs are not being met and put it next to your media tree and take a look at that in comparison. When you look at your media tree, also ask yourself, what are your distribution channels that you're hitting with this media tree? So you're hitting the Facebook distribution channel, you're hitting the YouTube distribution channel with your videos, and you're hitting the podcasting distribution channel through Libsyn, which feeds into all these different channels. That's a lot of channels. But is there some place else that you want to be? Or is there some place you'd rather be? Are you reaching the people that you want to be reaching? With that idea, take a look at your media tree and the places that you are, and ask yourself how you can get the most out of these, or if you're seeing other people get the most out of them. That's another thing I also want to recommend that you do outside of this media tree is just as people, as organizations, take a look at your heroes and make a list of your heroes. Take a look at people like yourself, take a look at your peers, take a look at people that are doing what you do, and take a look at their mistakes. And just sort of compare yourself to other people. Not unfairly, but just take a look at what other people are doing in the space that you're all in, because I've talked to a couple of you and you're all operating in different spaces. So take a look at the people that are doing it right and pull out their characteristics that you'd like to model, and also take a look at where they're planted online and how they're moving through their media in all these different channels that they've got. And take a look at people that are competition for you and see what they're doing right and see what they're doing wrong and how you think that you could improve on that. Make media trees for them too if you feel like it. When you look at the media tree, ask yourself how you can keep your online community involvement regular. There are a lot of ways to do this. Relationships require maintenance, which sucks, but that's just kind of how it is, and this is your relationship with the world. So you gotta feed that relationship, coddle it, have a little argument every now and then, but you gotta kind of keep the attention regular, otherwise the relationship doesn't do so well. And that's a truism. So, for instance, like linking your Twitter to your Facebook is one way that you can keep that relationship with your Facebook followers or fans, or however you go through Facebook, healthy. Because those people may not give two shits about Twitter. So, basically what I'm encouraging you to do is to create a complete record about the ways in which you engage with the public. And this can even be in the private public as well, and by that I mean social networks. And think of it in regard to your online presence. Identify the areas that are most challenging to you. So if you find one thing really, really challenging, like it's just really, Facebook is so complicated, I hate it so much. Think about not wasting so much time there, and think about doing things that could feed Facebook, but don't necessarily keep you going back there to get your time sucked out. And what can be helpful with that is taking a look at the things in your media tree and taking like a look at, okay, like for instance for me, like I don't know about you, but my inbox is a train wreck. It is a nightmare of gigantic proportions, and it falls into some distinct categories. And when I took a look at it, I was like, okay, there's this category, this category, this category, and my inbox is my biggest nightmare, and it's also the place where I lose so much time. And it's stuff where I walk away from it 2 hours later and I'm like, I have quantifiably done nothing, you know, except gotten rid of some of those little black messages. So what I did was I kind of poked around. I feed everything into my Gmail, which is great because it catches all the spam. And what I did was I just took a look at Gmail and I checked out their labs, because they now have a little labs area in the top of Gmail. They've got all kinds of neat tricks in there, like being able to filter messages. So the unwanted lists that I got put on like 20 unwanted porn lists when AVN came up last week. I just filtered those fuckers right to the trash. So they didn't even come to my inbox anymore. I don't even have to go through and click them and make them go away. And Google has this fun new thing called canned responses, which is also really handy. So for instance, when I hit my absolute limit of being able to give out individual sex advice to people who email me through various sources, I have written up a canned response email that says, "Hi, thank you so much for emailing. I really want to get back to you, but I can't right now. I'm on deadline. So if I highly encourage you to email the people at San Francisco Sex Information, and they can answer your question about anal sex." Ta-da! And there's like a third of my inbox, So think about ways that you can just sort of like take a look at the thing that takes the most time out of your life in terms of your media life, and just kind of take some time and dig around in it and look at shortcuts and ways that it can be made a lot easier for you. And it'll give you room to breathe, which brings us to the last point. I want to encourage you to start a fire. I want as many of us out there as possible. People that are trained, people that are smart, people that are dedicated, people that like to fight, people who have fire, all of you, sex educators. And the way to do that is to encourage you to start a fire. What does fire need? Fire needs 3 things to happen. It needs oxygen, it needs spark, it needs fuel. So, oxygen, very, very important to us. We need to breathe. One of the ways that we can do that is by making our lives easier. Like I said with the media tree, taking a look at things that suck the life out of you. Make sure that you just kind of get all that ancillary shit done and you don't need to worry about it, so that you can move on to the things that are your higher priority, which is your message, which is the reason that you're out there, the reason that you're doing these things. Also, oxygen is your sex positive ethics. Do what you can to revisit those, and do what you can to also make sure that you instill them in every little footprint, in every little piece of everything that you do, even your bio, so that wherever someone finds a little piece of you somewhere online, they find a little piece of your sex positive ethics somewhere. Don't quit your day job. This is also oxygen. We are never going to make millions of dollars doing what we do. There is no way. The world just isn't like that yet. We're here to change that, but it's just not happening like that. So keep yourself sane. Don't feel like you need to make the jump into being I'm gonna monetize this blog and do this and quit my day job, and then you'll just be a pile of stress, and your work online will suffer, and all the things that you're trying to do will suffer. So I'm going to encourage you to keep your day job for a little while and try to find a day job that you love, that ties into the things that you want to do with your sex positivity and your sex positive lifestyle and your sex education. But don't get yourself stressed out about money. Like I said, you're not going to make $1 million doing this. Authors don't make money. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's so many myths and so many fallacies that are just now being exploded about where people make money and where people get money from in the media landscape, that don't think that this is your path to being rich and famous. It's not. And then more oxygen is just maintain those best practices. Move through the world with your arms open. Fuel for that fire is getting organized. Getting organized and putting together a bit of a plan. I know, I hate getting organized, but it's really worth it. Getting those guidelines together, that's the fuel that you're going to rely on when people come to you, when people talk to you, when people confront you, when you open your mouth at a party. When you have that thing to fall back on that's your reason for doing what you do, you won't get knocked off track. Keep in mind your friendly guerrilla marketing tactics, which is, like I said, cross-pollinating yourselves on a lot of different sites. The fuel also is your message. Create it, stay on it. And also think about, in terms of fuel, what is it that you're here to oppose? What is it that you're here to unseat? What is it that you're excited to disrupt? And as for spark, the thing that gets the fire going, well, it's the hacks, isn't it? It's thinking differently, it's thinking creatively, it's thinking about how to get yourself sideways into different places. And in places where people wouldn't expect to find a sex educator talking knowledgeably about phones or phone hacking. It's that sort of thing that sort of circles people around and brings them back into, oh wow, oh, I thought these sex educators were just porn stars or something. And you can kind of flip the paradigms on their head and keep that moving. Yeah, it's reaching out to places out of the ordinary. Spark is also, like I said, looking for heroes and modeling what you like about them. taking a look at people that you think might be doing it wrong and what's holding other people back. That spark can come from taking a look at someone who's done what we've done but only made it so far. Well, what stopped them? Why didn't they keep moving? Was it that they just weren't hungry anymore? Or did they make a mistake and piss off someone by not giving them link credit, or this or that? Or did they get into an online fight and make an ass out of themselves? Just think about it in those terms. Also, spark, take a look at current events and react to them. That's something that'll keep you timely. It'll keep the spark going in terms of your relationship with the public. And then also, take a look at things that are happening, current events, and especially sex-negative ones, because those are really the most fun to fuck with. Take those because they are opportunities and run with them. Use them as an opportunity to explain things, to make fun of things, to keep things entertaining. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.